Hello everyone and welcome back to Two Bros Game Night. I am your host, Older Bro.
I'm your other host, Younger Bro.
And today we continue in National Park Girls, where Yellowstone is finally, I hope, about to tear Yosemite a new one. Yellowstone gives a sad smile, but nonetheless tries to force the cheer out of herself, straining her voice until she sounds only slightly miserable.
I already told you that, silly. I thought you could use a break too. It'll be great. We can tell stories, swap gossip, talk about boys. You know, girl stuff.
Ah, you're a teenager now. Oh.
I'm not into a single one of those things.
Boys?
Really? News to us. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Why are you not
really
with
not.
Yosemite?
Unclear.
Well, feel free to start walking back to Yosemite if you want.
Oh.
It's a bit under 1,000 miles by foot, so you better get a move on.
You
It's not.
are being a bitch.
It's not under 1,000 miles. It's well over.
No, it probably is about 1,000 miles.
I don't know.
This little brat, I swear, I'm going. Before I can bring myself to wring her neck, I get an idea. So instead I turn around and simply start walking.
Cool. I'll take my chances.
Wait! Hold on a sec!
I freeze and try to hide my grin. No wonder Yosemite has such an ego. Being the smartest person in the room must be addicting.
The truth is, I brought you along because I felt like I could trust you. There, I said it.
What,
Oh,
you don't
you
feel like you
can.
can trust Zion? Genuine shock wipes the smirk right off my face. Maybe I'm not as smart as I thought. Girl, you nearly punched someone to death. That is very obvious already.
Red flag.
Huh? But why?
It's silly, but...
Her eyes shift to the ground. She bashfully kicks the dirt around. Oh god, please tell me she's not a tsundere. No, I guess she wouldn't even be a tsundere. She's not Soon.
Yeah.
The other girl's tsundere.
I don't know.
I don't know.
When you complimented my flapjacks the other day, it made me really happy. Like, golly, someone finally appreciates something I'm doing.
Remember, guys.
When she kicks the dirt, it's like almost like a shy kind of thing. When
Yeah.
I've seen it in anime before.
Yep,
And
she has her
when you
hands
took
behind her
charge
back.
and put out that fire, I don't know, it made me like you even more. It's like you really know what you're doing.
It's almost like
I
you're their
do.
mom. Which is kind of weird because you kind of want to fuck one of your daughters. But
I'm
let's
probably
not
just being stupid,
let's
huh?
not get into that. Neither of us say anything. In fact, I'm almost tempted to keep it that way and have her take me back. But there's something about this sad volcano girl that I just can't turn away. How many times over the years have I been at my breaking point, just one little step from going off the deep end? How many times have I been blown off and told to suck it up when all I wanted was to vent? And where has that gotten me? Here. In the shithole. Luckily, you have somebody else who's also in the shithole, so you now have a friend.
Yay.
Finally, I give a long, defeated sigh. Yellowstone better thank her lucky stars that she's standing here today. And this is in America, so this works.
So she's proud to be in America.
Yeah, better thank her lucky stars that her pancakes are good.
Tell you what, kid. You promise, and I mean promise, to take me home in time to finish up with the rest of the trash in the park. And I'll hike around with you for a few hours.
Yellowstone perks up, and for the first time I notice how her volcano cuts through the air when she makes sudden movements.
You mean it? Cross your heart and hope to die?
Are you sure you aren't Pinkie Pie? If you say stick a cupcake in my eye, I'm leaving. She flings herself at me, stopping just shy of our noses touching. I can feel the heat emanating from her head in waves.
Stick 1,000 needles in your eye?
Well, I mean, you know.
Fuck you.
No.
Fuck you.
I
You
don't
know
know you-
exactly what you're doing. Fuck you.
Game developer.
Yes. Now, get out of my face before I plug your volcano with a rock.
Oh shit.
She skips forward, backpack bouncing cheerily on her shoulders. No, cheerily is a different character. Even if she hadn't just spent 10 minutes talking my ear off about it, it'd be easy to see just how much she's been looking forward to this.
Oh, you won't regret this, Evo! Me and you are gonna have a blast! We're
Like
gonna hike and do more hiking, and then after we take it easy for a bit, we can hike even more!
Okay, they really did say, in the last episode she was a New Yorker. Now she's Pinkie Pie.
Not so fast, Mountaineer.
I yank on her backpack and reel her back in.
What about that thing on your head? We'll have a lot of explaining to do if someone sees you.
No sweat!
Let me guess, she can just make it look
Yeah.
human or whatever.
Maybe. With a flourish, she slides her backpack off and rifles through it for just a second. Then she stands back up triumphant.
Ta-da!
How does that not catch on fire?
Look, it's a weird fantasy world. Also, it might. She stretches it taut over her head, volcano, covering it perfectly. Now it looks just like she has a really big head.
I guess that's an improvement.
Groovy! Now let's beat feet!
She sounds like Pinkie Pie.
I promise you, this is the same character. I think this is the same character. I am going to check later and see if this is Pinkie Pie. I can only assume she means let's go. So I motion my head. Girl.
What, Pikachu?
Whatever. So I motion my hand forward and let her lead. She skips ahead and starts on the trail, humming to herself and twirling to the music in her head.
Just promise you'll take me home early, please. I'm about overdue for an earful from Jessie, and I don't want to risk it now.
You're such a worrywart, dollface. Just hang back and smell the roses for a bit.
Okay,
You
I feel
read-
like this is a new person trying to pretend to be the old person.
She has to read, like, New York Times or something. Like,
New York Times! New York Times is not written in a New York accent!
I don't know.
As she
Like,
skips...
where the fuck do you think she's getting it from?
I don't know. Old movies, for all I fucking know. As she skips further ahead on the trail, I see her hand inch below her backpack.
She's watching like black and white Al Capone movies.
Almost hidden. Maybe it's my imagination, but for a brief second it looks like her fingers are crossed.
This'll be a walk in the park.
It literally is.
Oh, this is gonna go badly.
Not another fire.
The pace Yellowstone sets is excruciatingly slow. I feel like she's running away and taking her, Eve with her, so that it still feels like home.
There's no place.
And they're never going back. The pace, which is kind of, again, bad because she's in Yellowstone, which is still a national park, and she's still a park ranger.
Yeah.
The pace Yellowstone sets is excruciatingly slow. Sometimes it feels like we're not moving at all. I sometimes have to march ahead, hitting a steady stride.
Hawaiian music in the background.
I don't know, this is still Wyoming. Just so I can keep myself warm amongst the dusting of snow that decorates the surroundings. It forms mushy mud puddles in parts of the trail, but in others the path is so well trodden that the snow is gone entirely. Sometimes Yellowstone will dart off the road to inspect a soggy plant, or a peculiar rock along the way. She'll kneel down, humming to herself, gently touching the object out of curiosity like a scientist. Shouldn't she know everything in this park since she is this park?
That is a question.
During these moments, I force myself to stop and admire the flora and fauna with her. Cold be damned, it's been a hot minute or two since I've been within spitting distance of Yellowstone. May as well enjoy some of it, regardless of the circumstances.
Say, Eve?
Content, I move along from the ice-crusted bush I was looking at, continue on the trail. Like my shadow, Yellowstone falls in lockstep behind
I was
me.
wondering, what made you want to become a ranger?
Your
Easy.
Face.
I like nature, and I like the parks. Wanted a job that would let me be around both. Had my mind set on it since I was a kid.
Well, after that awkward veterinarian phase, but let's not talk about that. I think you should.
Then why are you so grouchy about having to do it?
You sure don't beat around the bush, do you?
Of course she doesn't.
Well, yeah. Most folks stop listening if I ramble too long. Cut to the chase is what Yosemite always says.
That makes sense.
Uh-huh.
At least that's one good piece of advice that bookworm has.
It's not that I'm grouchy about having to do my job. I just don't like having to deal with people or their messes.
Valid.
Oh.
So, you don't like talking to people then?
Well, no, she already said she wasn't really happy with being near people.
Bingo.
Nope.
She gets quiet, and we drift apart a little bit. My pace stays the same, but Yellowstone starts to lag behind. Not stopping, but not keeping up. I can hear her clomp along beside me, or behind me. Then her footsteps quicken to catch back up.
Are there any rangers that do have to talk more?
Plenty.
I start to pick up the pace a little. Yellowstone lags behind again, but soon enough she's right by my side again.
What do they do?
Nothing but talk. Kind of like you.
This is not clear enough of a sign for her that she doesn't really want to talk to you this badly. My mind immediately shifts to Jessie. I'm pretty sure the first thing that woman does when she wakes up is talk. Probably the last thing she does before sleeping, too. If she's not working, then she is almost certainly chatting.
And what do you do?
Answer your questions?
Valid. Yellowstone giggles as if I told a funny joke. Unfortunately for her, I am not laughing.
I mean, what do you really do, silly? You're always buzzing around like a worker bee, but it seems like you're doing something new every day.
It's not enough to kidnap me. She has to torture me, too. I glance back at her. Even though I'm brushing her off, her smile is radiant and genuine as she waits for me to respond. It's almost like she literally can't be sad, even though we've already seen her be sad. Maybe torture is too strong of a word. At the very least, she's not a nagging busybody like some other parks I know.
If you have to know, I'm basically law enforcement. If someone screws up, I'm who they call to take care of it.
And I will take care of it.
So you're like a forest cop.
Yes.
Yes,
That's exactly what
yes.
she is.
100%.
Not too far off, actually. Got training just like any other cop. Only difference is I did it on the federal level.
Oh.
Yeah,
Really?
makes sense. I feel a spring in my step as my long dormant pride briefly swells up inside of me.
So how come you gotta take out the trash?
And it's gone.
Because at the end of the day, I'm a glorified janitor. Also, it's the park service. No one just does one thing.
Yeah, that'd be really nice if they had some, specialization.
But the other rangers do different things?
Well,
Sure. Some of us are tour guides that show visitors around the park. Other folks go do outreach programs at school. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I actually met one. Where we...
wait, you meant who? A park ranger? Or like a tour guide?
A tour guide.
Oh, gotcha.
And they did outreach programs at their school.
Interesting. Cool.
You don't do any of that, though.
Yeah, that would be true.
Says who? I've given more than my fair share of lectures to bored middle schoolers, thanks.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah, I tried being a teacher.
Yeah, the little gremlins usually pile into Yosemite on field trips. It was exciting the first couple of times. I thought I might have the chance to really connect with those kids. But after a while, it became more and more obvious that none of them had an interest in the outdoors. Just video games and internet celebrities. Fuck you, we are
Fuck
video
you.
games and attempted internet celebrities.
If we get anywhere in life, salute us. For being internet celebrities. Internet celebrity Goombas.
It ended up working out since I lost my interest in them too.
Though at this point, I don't think they want me talking to anybody.
That's valid.
I want to talk
Aw,
about
that's
me.
not true. You're doing just well talking to me.
You're the one talking to me, otherwise I'd be silent.
Okay, so I've looked it up during this, the time we've been waiting on people to finish talking. So, she is not Pinkie Pie, but she's pretty close.
Who the fuck is she?
Charlie Morningstar from Has Been Hotel. the pilot, which is basically also Pinkie Pie. I have a dream. I wish to tell the girl who's also basically Pinkie Pie.
Fuck.
So yeah, this girl is basically Pinkie Pie number 2.
You must be pretty desperate for conversation if you think so.
I mean, yeah, she kind of is.
Believe me, I am.
You weren't supposed to agree to that. She says it with a cheerful, wholly unironic grin. Still, she quiets down again, and we carry on our trek. When I'm not being distracted with chatter, it's easy to enjoy the experience. Just like Yosemite, the park isn't too crowded, with the snow and cold keeping away all but the most determined sightseers. Again, as a reminder, guys, right now there is no snow in Yellowstone, and it's flooded. The visitation rate will spike next month once it starts.
Still some.
Yeah, and about a week after we left, all of it melted because it got so hot.
Yeah, I guess.
So, once it starts getting warmer, but for now there aren't too many people around to ruin it. We do get passed by the occasional backpacker or hiker, usually going in the other direction. Without fail, Yellowstone greets them with a chirpy hi or a wave. I do my best to avoid eye contact and ignore them. Do they have different ranger outfits in Yosemite? Does it look weird that she's here with her? Unclear.
Well, yeah, that is a question. What happens when a park ranger is outside the jurisdiction? I can't say that word. Right?
It's more just a question of what happens if Jesse is in Yellowstone right now. A light breeze carries some old snow with it, unless Jesse is only over Yosemite National Park.
She might only be
unclear.
Yeah, that is. I don't know.
I assume she isn't. Enough to make me shiver and wrap my arms around myself. It's only going to get colder the higher we go. Rather than strike up another conversation, Yellowstone starts to whistle. She cycles through a number... By the way, guys, you don't need to have both rather and instead in that sentence. Instead, like, rather already filled that role. By the way, sometimes you might notice I'm not exactly reading the dialogue because I'm skipping words that are stupid. Like, instead here. She cycles through a number of folk songs, as well as several melodies I don't recognize. Eventually, she settles on, I've been working on the railroad. My god, this girl could not be more Pinkie Pie if she tried. Repeating its distinctive refrain over and over, until I'm sure the birds will be singing it for days.
Did this visual novel just answer the question I had, like, a couple minutes ago?
Which one?
The part about this character sings this song. That's kind of what I'm talking about. But here's the thing.
I've been working on the railroad is an ancient song that's existed for over 200 years and is well
free use.
Out of copyright.
Yes.
So that one's fine.
Yeah, apparently any song that is before 1946, I believe, is free use.
Sort of. There's some
public.
Yeah, it has to be public domain.
Public domain, yes.
After we've been walking for 30 minutes or so, I notice a familiar sight up ahead, near the edge of the trail. I veer off in its direction, with Yellowstone watching curiously.
What'd you find?
The cliff you hang... the cliff you dangled me over.
No, I kneel down and pick up the item in question, holding it so she can see my prize. It's a paper wrapper from a $1 menu cheeseburger. Someone must have been carrying this one around for a while, since it's pretty deep in the park.
Garbage. Left behind by walking garbage. I'll throw it away at the next trash can.
I'm glad that I kept my gloves on before Yellowstone abducted me. They let me ignore the congealed cheese that hangs loose from the trash.
Gross. You're the bee's knees for cleaning up the place, though.
Thanks.
Her never-ending use of outdated slang is something I've gotten used to tuning out. At least I know what bee's knees means. Not too much later, I spot an abandoned park map fluttering uselessly in the breeze. When I snatch it out of the air, it's speckled with mud. The date on the attached receipt is from several days ago. I crumple it into a ball and carry it alongside the burger wrapper.
More trash?
Of course. It's all over the place if you look for it.
And after spotting the first piece, I can't help but look for it. With every step we take, my eyes scan the trail for more litter. Before long, my hands are full. When we finally reach the trash can, where I can offload everything, I sigh with relief. I'm going to need to take the longest shower of my life when I'm home. With a whoop and a cheer, Yellowstone dashes over to the low wood railing that turns this spot into a small observation point. I believe they're supposed to be up there? Unclear.
Take a gander at that, Eve. Ain't it grand?
Maybe they're just looking up there.
It is.
I can't help but be impressed by the sprawling forest that dominates the horizon. No matter which direction I turn, the view could be a postcard. Yep, they're up there.
You know, we can go anywhere in the park whenever you want. Just say the word.
Anywhere?
Yep, top of the mountain, bottom of the mountain, the entrance, the exit, even in the middle of nowhere.
Fuck.
That's because it's me. It's the same for Zion and Yosemite, too. The girls, I mean.
But only around the park?
That's right.
A worrying thought crosses my mind.
And you can take us back home, right? You aren't just trying to pull a fast one on me, are you?
Of course. That's how we got back last time.
Yeah, that...
Last time? Are you telling me that I was dangling off a cliff in Yellowstone National Park?
That was real?
Ah, come on. You didn't die.
I mean, I guess that's fair.
That's fair, but you dangled
Doesn't
me
make
off
me
a
feel any
cliff!
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yellowstone giggles. I'm glad she finds my near-death experience entertaining. Maybe she can finish the job next
I'll
time.
let you in on a little secret.
Oh, goody.
You know that painting back in the cabin? The gorgeous one with the view from the top of Mount Washburn?
They're all gorgeous, but sure.
Well, that's like home base. As long as it's in the cabin, I can go right back there.
Wait.
But-
You're telling me you can teleport via the postcards? Like photos?
The painting is a physical connection to the park for her. Now, here's the problem. What if, and stay with me, Yosemite gets so pissed off at you that she removes the painting?
Although,
Well,
if you moved the painting, I'd have to go there instead.
Oh, but she can always go back to the painting.
Sounds like there's a lot of arbitrary rules.
Right? It makes my head spin. But it's like Yosemite always says, linear thinking won't...
Get you anywhere, I know. She's given me the lecture.
Yep.
Sounds like her, all right. She always yaks about the same thing over and over.
She does it because she thinks it'll make her sound smart. Now, let's keep going.
The view is gorgeous, there's no denying that. If I could, I'd stay here for a week, exploring and poking around. But I have to get home. I'd never hear the end of it from Jessie if she found me shirking my duties.
Roger that.
Also, you said "my" in that last text box instead of "me." We start back up the trail. The next stretch of trail is devoid of litter. Somehow. Must be close proximity to the bin. My moment of relief is short-lived, though. There are plenty of reminders of how careless park visitors are. Like the initials scratched into one of the trees by the road. That's not really a reminder of them being careless. That's a reminder of them not caring. There's a difference between carelessness and not giving a shit.
Well, I mean... Okay.
It's similar.
Like, I could maybe forgive someone who makes a heart and puts their initials
I
in
wouldn't
there.
say that somebody is careless when they carve their initials into a tree. They're careless when they drop a wrapper and like ignore it or don't
Carving
notice it.
initials in a tree is it's not. I don't think that even hurts the tree, does it?
Unclear, but it's like I don't think you can be careless and be active. Like you can't be actively careless. If you're actively doing it, you on some level have to care.
Like, I can understand putting your initials into a tree just to see how long it stays there. But
yeah,
you'd have to come back and check it every once in a
I
while.
stop and glare at the offending carving.
Nobody knows or cares who you were, PT.
That's untrue. Very many people give a shit about Silent Hills.
Silent Hills.
That's literally not a joke. That was the name of Silent Hills. The PS4 like demo. They called it PT.
Oh yeah, they did, didn't
So
they?
yeah, I'm probably the only person in the world who would give a second thought to the marking, and not for the reason they intended. Yeah, but it is for the reason we intended. Congratulations, Eve. You are a gamer. Yellowstone peers around my shoulder to see what I'm looking at.
You sure
I mean,
don't
she
miss a
said
thing.
she's done both gaming and...
She don't want to miss a thing. That's true.
Can't help it, as much as I'd like to sometimes.
I'm doomed to notice each and every blemish and imperfection, just like Yosemite, with its problems and stories. I'm sure Yellowstone the park has its fair share of stories too. Except just like the initials carved into the tree, nobody cares what they have to say.
Why do you think people are like that?
I turn back to face Yellowstone. She bounces from one foot to another, unable to sit still, even when we're not walking.
You really are full of questions today.
Oh, not just today. Pretty much every day. Except usually Yosemite just stops answering.
Oh.
Sounds like her. Anyway, as to why they're like this, I guess it's because they're selfish.
Or they're stupid.
They don't think about what they're doing or what it costs nature. They just want something, so they take it.
But they're not taking it.
If it damages the tree, then they are. That's the point. Even if it doesn't damage the tree, they don't give a shit if it damages the tree. How many people sit down and say, I wonder if me carving my name into the bark of this tree is hurting the tree? No one.
Okay.
No one does that.
But here's the thing. Does it, though?
I don't know. But you know what? Nobody cares. So she's right.
I guess.
I look off into the distance, struggling to find the right comparison. And then the answer dances its way into my memory.
They're like a wildfire. They just come in and destroy everything. Doesn't matter if they burn the entire place down. All that matters is that they get their kicks. And then they just spread, consuming and destroying.
Sounds like a disease.
Wildfire.
Yellowstone looks mystified by the comparison, her eyes glazing over and then widening.
I don't think that's fair, though, you know? They're people with thoughts and feelers. Wildfire can't do that.
I guess. That's beside the point, though. It was just a comparison. Besides, doesn't it bother you? Seems like this should get on your nerves just as much as mine. After all, you live here. Or are here, or something.
You are, yeah.
You are the goddamn
See, the
park.
problem is saying you are here doesn't work either, because you are here means you're standing here in this place. But she is the place itself.
Yeah.
We're standing on you.
Well, I don't like it, you're right. But it comes with the territory. I'd rather deal with it than have nobody come see me. See the park, I mean.
No, you were correct.
Even
Still
though they
correct.
don't respect you? Or the park?
Not everything's about respect, Eve. Sometimes you just gotta have fun.
Da-da-da-da. She'd be perfect for Two Bros Game Night.
To emphasize, she flashes a peace sign at me. The epitome of fun. Well, to be fair, she was started by hippies.
I don't think every person who leaves behind some trash is a bad person. They're just people who made a teensy tiny mistake. If you help them out, maybe they won't make that mistake again next time. Little bit of talking and working together, and who knows? You might end up being great pals and doing great things together. Just imagine if you hadn't compromised with Yosemite back at the cabin. We'd have never gotten to know each other like this.
Yeah, and I'd be safe and sound back at home doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Exactly, and that's no fun.
She says it with a smug tone of voice, like she's just proved some great point, rather than missing it entirely. I roll my eyes. I don't know if Yellowstone's being willfully ignorant or what. It completely baffles me that she's not bothered by the way the park is treated. For someone who threw a tantrum and ran away because she felt that she was unappreciated, she's awfully eager to forgive the good people and assume they have the best intentions. I just can't let this go. She'll thank me for it later.
You're still being naive. When it comes to nature, people will just keep making compromise after compromise until there's nothing left. Rainforests, ice caps, endangered species, all these things are being wiped out because of compromises. Either you make people understand the truth, or you give up on them. Because most aren't worth the time or effort. They're never going to learn or care. And that's 90% of the people that you see out here.
What about the other 10%, though?
You failed them.
What about them?
If you can help even that 10%, doesn't that make it worth it? Sometimes they just need someone to teach them the right thing to do.
Oh god, not her too.
I'll bet you most of those 10% would be happy to have someone show them the ropes so they can do better next time. As long as there's someone to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm immediately done with the conversation. I just give her a flat answer so that we can move on. I really don't need to hear the same lecture twice in a day. It's obvious that Yosemite's drilled the same nonsense in the Yellowstone's head that she tried to pass on to me. It's also possible, Miss Park Ranger,
that she's a nice person.
That she knows something you don't. Instead, I try to focus on the hike again. Push the distractions out of my head. Keep my attention focused on the top of Mount Washburn and still the imperfections we pass by. Doesn't work very well, but I refrain from mentioning it or picking up more. If Yellowstone doesn't care, then I'll let it be someone else's problem, someone else's story. Between the garbage, the vandalism, and the lecture, pretty much any enjoyment I was getting out of the trip has evaporated. Seems like every day of my life I'm doomed to hear the same meandering criticisms about how it's my fault the idiots are idiots. To her credit, Yellowstone stays quiet for now, but I'm sure it's a temporary reprieve. I'm proven right when we round another bend in the path. And guys, I think that we're going to stop there and come back next time. And
with more idiots.
See what the next idiots are like. We'll see then if they're going to be idiots or learn something. Until then, I swear, same fucking idiots.
There's no way.
It's possible. Until then, the future is very uncertain. What is certain is you guys are awesome, and there'll be more Two Bros Game Night tomorrow. See you then!
Goodbye.